Good morning and welcome to the Blytheway Mining Show on Core Finance. I'm Bonnie Hughes with Royal Haskoning, Business Development Manager of Mining, and today our guest is Patrick Cullen. He is CEO of Connemara, and since he's taken over the role of CEO, he has accomplished a lot of things. You've extended your prospecting licenses, you've got a joint venture with Teck, you had some drill results coming out. Why don't you give us some more details about what you've been up to?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Bonnie. Good to see you again. So we have been quite busy since I last saw you at the end of August. We got our drilling underway in Donnegal. We had some results back. We've extended our Wicklow Wexford project, which is the other gold project. We have two gold projects, one in Donnegal, one in Wicklow Wexford. We extended that by acquiring the assets of our former joint venture partner. And basically we have a target there that's some 15 kilometres in length. So going back to the Donnegal drilling, we were ostensibly drilling to work out what the structures really are doing and try and give us a better idea for further drilling next year and targeting that we're going to do. We got some good grades. We got 14 grams over half a meter on the one vein, and it's given us a much better idea. We're gonna go back to that area in January next year. Do some more focused sampling and set up some new drill targets along that whole trend. So pretty excited about that. Right now, as we speak, we had a rig set up last week in the Wicklow Wexford project. So they've just started drilling. Very excited about that. That target is Gibbet Hill.
And when would you expect the results to come out on that?
Well, yeah, so I was hoping they would be turning the rig last Wednesday. There was, it takes a little bit of time, so possibly those results will only come up early January. But we'll certainly have an idea of what's in there fairly soon once we've drilled some of the geology there. We've got this target, Gibbet Hill, to the south, and then to the north is Knockalure and Tombreen. And Tombreen and Knockalure have been drilled historically. There's a number of holes in there, and so we know we can expect some good grades. There's been grades up to 21 grams a ton, 19 grams a ton at those targets in the past, over 30 centimeters, 50 centimeters, those sort of intervals. So what we're essentially doing is, with the first lot of drilling now, we're going to extend that whole target, turn that into a 5-kilometre trend. What we've done with the acquisition of the Hendrick resources is we've extended the entire play to like I say, 15 kilometres. Now, we've also got airborne geophysics, which is showing us a very clear signal that trend's continuous. So very excited about that. I think the real challenge there is to start to understand, get a model going, which we've got. We've got a basic model, and it really indicates to us that there's a difference in the geology. We have shales, and then we have these shales with volcanic tuffs. Okay, just to get a bit technical on it. But what's interesting is that the grade certainly is associated with these volcanic tuffs.
So has your strategy changed from when you first started at the company with all of this new information that you've been getting?
Well, no, the strategy was to get busy, and we had these great targets, and just to get in there and to get a first look. But very quickly we're starting to develop a very focused target. But I mean, a few more holes into it, and we'll have a much better idea. But essentially, it looks to us at this point that we're looking at a stratiform target, and that's very important because it talks about continuity. And then the challenge is to find where is the sweet spot within this extensive target, this 15-kilometre target. So that's what we're about.
So you've been trying to get some more information on sort of the greenfields area of the project?
Yeah, as well as, and then we'll be stepping back into some of the older areas. Look, the drilling there was done back in the 90s. It's definitely worth a look. Go back. Assay techniques have changed. Some of the mineralization, for sure, some of the drilling stopped in mineralization. I mean, so we've got some good targets there. We're pretty excited about it, and it's definitely something we're hoping to get 3-4 holes in there before we shut down for a couple of weeks over Christmas, and then take it from there. So that's so pretty good.
And what's been happening with your joint venture with Teck?
Well, Bonnie, the Teck sold out to Group 11 Resources, and that was kind of on the cards actually for a few months. There'd been discussions, so we're very excited about that. They have the Group 11 are a zinc-focused explorer in Ireland. They've got a lot of licenses. They're the largest license holder in Ireland currently, and they're doing a listing on the Toronto Stock Exchange. But we're still waiting So we're very excited. They've laid out a very clear plan of what they intend to do. The Stone Park project, which is our joint venture with them, which is the former tech, that's the one that we're most interested in. Obviously, they have some other projects also, but they've laid out a 2-year sort of drilling plan, possibly some 2D seismic to improve their targeting. And there's drilling ready targets there at Stone Park. Now, Stone Park, I just want to remind the viewers, that's the one that's adjacent to the very big resource at Palace Green, which is, it's 40 million tons at 8% lead and zinc combined. So we're pretty excited to be next to that, and we're waiting with bated breath for them to get the listing underway and get started. Presumably next year.
Well, that would also probably, like your share price has already doubled, but if they get a TSX listing, that might even help your share price even more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'd expect to see, some sort of evaluation, if I could say, of that project. I mean, we've already got a value on it. We know what they sold it for. What Tech sold it for. It put a nominal value of $2.3 million on the actual asset. There was a cash and there was some other elements to the deal, but no, we decided to keep that. That's a sort of a core, asset for us. But the sooner they get busy with it, the better. And we're looking forward to that very much. Zinc's still going strong. There's been some exceptional activity in Canada, particularly. Nexa Resources listed a couple of months ago, third largest mining listing in the history of the Toronto Stock Exchange. Pretty exciting. And fundamentally, zinc looks good. So we're in a good space. We're doing good work on the gold. The share price, as you mentioned, has gone up. We're sitting in the 4.5 sort of range now. It's been up as high as 5.25. I think now people are looking to results, and we'll see. But I think people are encouraged. People are encouraged certainly by the results we had from Donnegal. At least we're continuing to get grade out of the ground, and we're going to be able to focus our drilling next year much more carefully.
And how many meters are you hoping to drill before the end of the year?
We're looking at about 500 meters before the end of the year. So so the guys are on site, and we're also doing some further mapping while we're there. So I have actually in Wicklow at the moment. There's a senior consultant that we've brought onto the project he's worked in the area with companies such as Rio Tinto in the past. And we've got another 3 geologists one on the rig, and so they're busy in the field. They're getting the next lot of targets ready, and we're doing some prospecting as well, because what happens is every year there's ploughing and there's changes to the environment, and there's float rocks that pop up, and it gives you a very good indication of what you're looking at. Also, what we've really benefited from is there's been a lot of wind farm development along the ridges in Wicklow, Wexford, over the past 20 years, or 10 years, let's say, and so these things are obviously massive structures, and they have to be rooted into bedrock, and they have to get this huge equipment into the hills. So they've developed quite significant tracks where they've cut into the hillside.
So it's almost like trenching for you.
Yeah. So we've got these wonderful exposure at Gibbet Hill. But they've given us a wonderful exposure, give us a very clear idea of what we're targeting and what we want to drill. So that's been pretty interesting.
So it's like a freebie.
Absolutely. Yeah. No.
That's excellent. Would you be able to use the wind farm for energy for a mine if you decided to?
Okay. Yeah. I think wind farms and mines are, they're compatible.
Yes.
Certainly. I see at Lachine where they've done where they've closed down the mine and they've done the rehabilitation. There's actually a wind farm on their old tailings and dams, and that's So that's a good kind of a use, but we're very early stage. Gibbet Hill is green, but certainly we'll worry about that down the road.
And so, have you had any sort of visits or interest from Dalradian or Galantis come and see what you've been up to?
We haven't spoken to either of those groups, but certainly this week being in London with the Mines and Money and the one-to-one conferences that are happening, and the town's buzzing with explorers and miners, so we're certain to run into people, and we're always open to discussion. But I made this point before, Donnegal is still early stage, and we want to do as much work early on before we start, we want to find something before we start talking to potential, partners and investors. That'll come. But I see there's been activity in the Dalradian group of rocks elsewhere, away from the Dalradian project itself. There's COSA have taken over some Lonmin assets in the north of Ireland, the Dalradian, and we had a look at that. That was announced last week. But yeah, we believe we've got very interesting targets in Donnegal, certainly on the Dalradian area. So that's good. But yeah, so
you'll be spending this week.
This week's going to be a lot of so
at the conferences.
At the conferences and meeting people and yeah, really. And meanwhile, keeping an eye on what's happening back in Wicklow, Wexford, where the boys are drilling and where they're prospecting and they're doing some mapping and.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to some more good news from you.
Yep.
With the drill results and all of your other things that you have going on. And thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you, everyone, for listening in, and hope to see you soon.